Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of RawRadiantHealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it is Monday, and today I decided I want to talk about the importance of eating organic. I am a true believer in eating as much organic fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and all your grains, even your meat and your milk or whatever. Everything should be organic to the best of your ability. And I stress this as a major importance. And the reason why is because conventionally grown, like mainstream produce that you find at most grocery stores, have been sprayed with a crazy amount of chemicals and herbicides and pesticides and larvicides and fungicides. All sorts of, poisons pretty much, right? I mean, it's sprayed with these chemicals to prevent things from eating at the plant or preventing it from getting diseases or whatever it is. And it's poison pretty much that they're spraying. Okay, years ago I used to live in Australia, and I worked for months on vineyards, and I worked with cauliflower and bananas and all sorts of stuff. Worked on many farms, and I've seen the spraying. I know what goes on, and it's scary. I mean, you've got the farmer that wears a full-on spacesuit, okay? You're not allowed to be anywhere near the area that they'll be spraying. Usually you're not even allowed to go back to that area for a few days. And, it's pretty nasty stuff. And it's something that is known to cause birth defects. It's known to contribute to cancer and all sorts of diseases. And it's chemicals. And the main thing is that it's getting on your food, and you eat that food and it goes into your body and gets stored in your body. And a lot of people say, well, I wash my food very well and I peel everything, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, but it gets absorbed into the plant. It gets absorbed into the fruit that it's bearing. It gets absorbed into the leaves, into the greens, into everything. It doesn't just stay on the surface. I mean, perfect example of that is, nowadays they have some pharmaceutical treatments that have a patch, right? Like nicotine patch, for example, and you put it on your skin. It's like a Band-Aid, and the nicotine goes through your skin and gets absorbed into your bloodstream. So right there just proves how anything you put on the surface of a living thing gets absorbed into it. And we see that with, we put creams and stuff, and we absorb that into our bloodstream. So it's the same thing with spraying chemicals on a plant. It's going to go into that sort of bloodstream of that plant, and it's going to make up the plant. I mean, a plant is normally made up of what? 50 to 70% of its water, right? And where does it get its water from? It gets it from the ground, it gets it from the air, it gets it from the rainfall, and whatever falls on the surface of it, it is absorbing. Same with human beings, right? That's how we get our water, from what we drink and what we breathe, and what is on the surface of our skin. So the main thing is that yes, it's going to lessen the carcinogenic, toxic load if you do peel your fruits and vegetables, but it's not going to take it completely away. And if you're eating this food day in and day out, you're absorbing this into your body. It becomes one with your body pretty much. I mean, every cell in your body is made up of the food you eat, the air you breathe, and the water or liquids you drink. You are what you're eating pretty much. And the main thing is that you want that to be like the purest and most pristine stuff possible, and you want to lessen that load of chemicals and stuff. I mean, we already have enough air pollution and weird stuff going on. Why add even more? And especially when it's under your control. You choose, you pick and choose what you eat. You decide if you can afford that. You decide if that's a priority in your life. Is your health down the line worthy, and you decide how valuable everything is to you. And for me, it's a huge priority because, I don't make a lot of money, but I want to eat good food because I know that if I'm functioning properly, then I can go to work. I can do things. I can live an outstanding life, you know, and the more I take care of myself, the better my life is going to be. You know, everything is cause and effect. And, you know, a lot of times, like, you know, because people complain, you know, that organic food is so expensive, but it's like the more people that are eating it and the more people that are supporting it, then there becomes more and more demand and the price is lower. I've seen the prices lower. Like, I mean, you look 10 years ago, it was hard enough to find organic fruits and vegetables. And when you did, it was like crazy amount of money. You know, and huge difference compared to it now, you know, and I see too, because I scour like the shops, right? I've got quite a few health food stores around me, and I'm always, you know, I like to compare, and I like to know where I can get the best deal. And I find that, like, I'd say majority of the produce I buy nowadays, like, I mean, it's almost the same amount as it is to buy conventionally grown fruits or vegetables, and then I have the peace of mind that it's like, you know, it's the best quality I can get, you know, and that's the thing, you know, you got to put your life and your health first, and you just don't want any regrets. You really don't. You want to be able to be like, you know, I've done the best that I can, and also you'd feel the results, you know, and the main thing is too, like, you know, there's the argument between, you know, the mineral content of the soil, right? That some people say that if you eat organic fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, things like that, that you'll get a higher mineral content than you would buying conventionally grown produce that's been grown on like depleted soil. And then there's other people that say, no, you know, all soil today is depleted. Now, my stance on this is that it depends on where you're buying it. Where's the source? If you're buying it from like a local farmer that's pretty small, or even somewhat large, but they really invest in their soil and really, you know, use the technology today to build up their soil and enhance their soil, then, and they're conscious of it and they know about it and they're doing something about it, then definitely you're going to have a higher nutrient content in your food compared to someone that's got, you know, a huge plot of land and is just like mass growing conventionally grown stuff, okay, and just stripping the soil of everything. It just depends on the source, where you're buying it from, who you're buying it from, you know. And like that's the greatest thing about farmers markets is if you go to them, you get to know the farmer, you get to know the guy that's running the show, you know, and you can see what kind of person he is, and you can ask him questions or her questions, or, you know, and find out what is going on and what's their philosophy and how much do they love what they're doing, you know. And a lot of that will give you an indication as to like how good the fruit and vegetables are, and you can just tell by looking at it, you know, how green are the greens, you know. And so right there, I mean, it's like if you can find a really good source for your fruits and vegetables, then you probably will get a higher quality food that, again, even if you're paying a little bit more, it's worth it because you're getting even more nutrition. So, you know, think about it. You know, it's like you might buy something that's really cheap, but how much nutrition is in it, you know, and is it a GMO, and is it, you know, like how is it grown and what really is it, you know. So I don't know, that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today, is just to think about it, you know, that like, you know, and if you're not eating any organic right now, why not just take the first step and read a little bit more about organic food. You can go, I'm going to put up a great link to the Environmental Working Group site, and they've got like a list of like, you know, what are the foods to watch out for, which foods are semi-safe, things like that. So you have an idea when you go to the grocery store, you know, what's full of pesticides and what is, you know, all right. So it's good to get this information and, you know, start with what you can, you know, and it might be that like you first start by getting, you know, like, you know, some of your greens, getting them organic, and then slowly work on the fruits and work on the oils and all that, okay? So you can do it step by step, or you can just change overnight, whatever you want, go at your own pace, but just recognize that you are doing yourself a favor, and it is worth it, okay? So have a fabulous day, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!